Guys, it is September the 10th, 2024, and I hope everybody's having a great day so far today. Today, I've got a little bit different of a setup, as you can tell. I just got finished doing the podcast that I've been talking about with you guys, and that's going to be posted on Monday of next week. The podcast that I just did was Hard Knocks Life, and that's Hard, H-A-R-D, and Knox, K-N-O-X, Life podcast. The guy's out of Canada, and we just did a really good episode between the two of us. Like I said, it's going to be coming up here really soon. But when I went to, when he invited me on his podcast, one of the things he asked me if I had was a microphone. And, audio quality is really important to him and his show. Because it is a podcast, although he does post up his episodes on YouTube. But I decided, once again, that, since I've got the microphone and everything, that I'd go ahead and do today's show and just let you guys get, a listen with the microphone and see what you guys think about the new audio format. I'm going to be taking the microphone and using it outside, like I always film, and I won't have the earphones and all that stuff on when I'm filming, but for today I just figured that since I've got all this stuff set up down here, that I would go ahead and film today's show down here with all with the microphone and all that good stuff, and just see what you guys think about the audio, because I do think that it's greatly improved using the microphone. And like I said, you're still going to get to see the, outside. I'll still go out to the table that I always sit at. I just set my microphone up and all that jazz outside. So it's not going to look like this every single day. So I don't know what you got. I know that everybody enjoys, seeing the trees in the background and the wildlife and the birds and the bugs flying around and all that good stuff. So I'm not going to change up the way that I film. It's just everything's down here. I had to set up this little makeshift studio this morning so that I could do that podcast. And I just didn't want to have to pick all this stuff up and move it back outside and everything like that, because it is kind of late in the day right now. I think it's like, I don't know, probably like 3:30. Yeah, it's 3:30 right now. So I figured I'd go ahead, like I said, and film today's show down here and just try it out with a new audio and see what you guys think. But the podcast was really good, and I think you guys will find it interesting. And I will definitely share the links with you guys for that podcast here whenever he does post, so that you guys, it'll be easy for you just to click the link and it'll take you right directly to it. But for the most part, you guys have already heard the story that I told on there. And I didn't go into a whole lot of depth. He was asking me questions, and I kind of got to go into, what happened and all that stuff, but it was kind of brief. But it was still a really good show. But what I wanted to talk about today is, finding our best self when we finally get sober. Because I really do think that when we get sober, we turn into the best version of ourselves. And that's one of those things that I was talking about on the podcast. He asked me at the end if there's anything that I wanted to finish out with. And, I told him, I think the best version for ourselves is waiting there for us. And it's there. And when we finally do get sober, we can become the best version of ourselves. I know I am the best version of myself that I've ever been since I've gotten sober. And it's not like, it happened overnight. This has taken a lot of time. It's taken a lot of work, for me to discover who I am. And, one of the things as well is that after I got sober, I finally was able to settle into who I am as a person. And I think that's one of the things that we can actually really do when we get sober is, find out who we really are. Because for so many years, I was putting on an act. I was trying to be somebody that I really wasn't. I thought that being that wild, crazy guy is what people wanted me to be, and it's not. Who I am, I'm not a loud, crazy guy. I'm actually quiet, very self-reflective, and just not the guy that I was when I was a drinker. I didn't care. I did whatever I wanted to do. I acted how I wanted to act. I did a lot of ridiculous things. Hurt a lot of people's feelings, and just a lot of stuff like that. And now it's different. And I really do think that, after we get sober, we have to find ways to fill that time, that we were filling with whatever the substance was before. And when we really start to find what that is that we enjoy to do and fill that time, once again, we can start becoming the best version of ourselves. Because we can find joy in other things other than whatever the substance is, especially alcohol. Because I know for myself, I spent all of my free time getting intoxicated. That's what I did for fun. If I was bored, I drank. If I was happy, I drank. If I didn't have anything to do that day, I drank. It didn't matter what it was, I drank. That's what I did to fill my time. And now I don't do those types of things. I try to find things to fill my time that are productive. And it could be something as simple as just playing with your kids. A few minutes ago, I got finished doing the podcast, and my son is still home right now, and he's doing better, by the way. Thank you so much for everybody for your concern. But my youngest son, I think he's going to be going back to school tomorrow. Like I said, he's still here today. And after I got done doing that podcast, I walked back upstairs, and my son was in his bedroom playing with Legos. And he was having a hard time figuring something out. And I went in there and said, what's the problem? And he said, I can't figure out how to get this piece to go here and this and that. And I said, okay, well, I'll give you a hand with it. And I spent, 10, 15 minutes on the floor with him playing with his Legos. And, that's something that I never would have done before. It would have been, okay, I'll get to that later. I'm going to help you out with that later. And it just never would have happened. I would have kept putting it off until the point where I just got intoxicated and passed out. And that's not the case now. But back to, becoming the best version of ourselves. I really do believe that when we get sober, we can finally become the best version of us, because we don't have that substance clouding our thoughts, clouding anything anymore. We're finally free from whatever it is, and we can think clearly, and we could just be so much more productive. I mean, I've talked about this before, but my productivity levels now, versus back then, I mean, it's a night and day difference. I mean, it really, really is. And I'm sick a lot of the time, too. There's a lot of days where I just don't feel well. I feel horrible. And I can still get more done now than I ever could in the past. And it's just mind-blowing. Who's to know what I could have gotten done back then if I had been sober, when I actually, wasn't sick. And that's one of the reasons that I come on here and talk about this every single day, is because I want for you guys to be able to have, to learn from my mistakes, and to see all the things that I went through, and, maybe change your life now and not have to, wait so long and waste so much opportunity that you have in your life. Because I did. I wasted years away. I mean, decades away. I mean, I literally wasted away decades. And I could have been doing so much with myself, and I wasn't. And now, every moment of my day is filled with something. Whether it be doing the YouTube videos, or replying to comments, or reading a book, or doing some simple woodwork out in my shop, or getting on my tractor and working on my driveway, or getting on my riding lawnmower and cutting my grass, or whatever it may be. It could be something as simple as I'm just sitting down, just sketching something on a sketch pad. But but I'm just productive all the time. And I see so many other people in the comments talking about just this, that they have found a hobby, and they're getting their life back because they found something they really love to do, and it's taking up all of their time. And not only are you filling in that time, but you're also producing or making things or whatever it may be. It could be that lock on your front door that's been broken now for the past 5 years that you keep saying, I'm going to repair, and you never get to it. And now you actually have the time to do those types of things. And not only just that, but, being super productive and getting all this stuff done, and, finding new hobbies and getting those new hobbies and becoming good at doing those. But not just that, but the relationships that we can, have with our friends and our family. We can actually be there in the conversation. I know, like, when I was a drinker, I made everything about myself. I never gave anybody the opportunity to talk. If I was in the middle of a conversation with somebody when I was drinking, the first thing that I did was I would cut them off. I never listened to anybody. Never. I never took the time to listen when somebody else was trying to talk to me. It was always about me. And, I would sit in the conversation, writing on every word that they said. And as soon as I could catch a break to jump in and talk about myself, that's what I did. Because that's all I cared about was me. I was selfish, narcissistic, and all I cared about was myself and my alcohol and getting intoxicated. That's all I cared about. And if I was having a conversation with somebody, and if they, if it wasn't something that I was highly interested in, or if the conversation wasn't directly on me, I would, butt into the conversation and try to make it about myself, because that's just the way I lived. And now, being sober, I actually take the time to listen to other people now. I take the time to actually absorb what other people are telling me, especially when somebody's talking to me. And that's another thing, too. When we get sober, we can remember our conversations. We can remember what we talked about the night before. I mean, 'cause for so many years, I would be hanging out with friends or, family or whatever, and, we would, have these conversations. I wouldn't remember any of it. And, people would be telling me stories about their life and all kinds of stuff, and I didn't remember any of the conversation. But now, I remember every single word that is said. I remember everything that happened the night before. I remember everything that happened the day before, a week ago. Back in the day, I couldn't even tell you what I had, to eat, an hour before. I would just forget. And now I could tell you what I had to eat for dinner 3 weeks ago. I'm being ridiculous right now, but you get what I'm saying, is that I can remember everything that happens. I remember everything I say. I remember everything I did. And I don't wake up in the morning with that crazy anxiety because, I got blackout drunk the night before and I don't remember what happened. And, there were so many times that I would say ridiculous stuff to people and they would be upset with me. And, I would try to get in touch with them. Let's say they came over on a Friday night and we were hanging out at my house. I probably said or did something that was really offensive. And then, a week later, I'd reach back out to them and I wouldn't get a response. And I'd be like, what's going on? And people would just kind of drop off the map. I would lose friends, and I didn't quite understand why. And then, a year or 2 years down the road, I would finally get in contact with that person again and be like, what happened to you? Why aren't we speaking to each other? What, did I do something or say something to upset you? And then they would go, oh, yeah, man, you were really intoxicated and you were being really offensive and saying some really mean things to me. And, I just had to stop talking to you. And, that's kind of tough. When you can't even remember what you said and you have to sit there and listen to something like that, and you have to believe what they're saying because it's probably true. But the point of today's, show is that, becoming the best version of ourselves. And I really do believe that when we finally do get sober, that we can become the best version of ourselves, no matter where we're at in our life. Even if we are having health consequences because of our consumption, it's still an opportunity, one, for us to fix those broken relationships, or at least try to make amends with people that we have hurt. And like I said, just become a better version of ourselves. Just because we're sick and we're laying in our bed doesn't mean that we can't become a better version of ourselves, and at least try to improve ourselves with what time that we have left. Because like I said, for so many years, I was a horrible person, horrible. And, getting sick really humbled me and made me realize that I'm not invincible. I am not indestructible. As a matter of fact, it's the complete opposite. I realized how fragile life really is when I got sick. I realized how fragile my life is, and that I am not invincible by any means. And, I also learned a lot about myself. Like I said, I was portraying this other role, trying to be this other person that I thought that other people liked. I thought that people enjoyed being around that person. And come to find out, nobody did. That version of myself was irritating. I was annoying. People just didn't like being around me, and I totally get it. Especially now that I'm sober, and if I see somebody that's been drinking, or if I'm around somebody that's been drinking, I can, especially if they're being loud or whatever, it just really brings me back in those old days, and I have to think back of how obnoxious I used to act, because I really, really did. When I say that, I'm not kidding, guys. I really was obnoxious, and I wasn't empathetic. I wasn't sympathetic to anyone. All I cared about was my needs. And now that's not the case. If anything, I care about other people more than I care about myself, more than anything. Because I do. I feel like, if I can help other people, and I can, help other people feel better about themselves, and not always talk about myself, and allow other people the chance to speak. Because like I said, I didn't even allow people the chance to talk when I was in the middle of a conversation. It's a much better life when I'm allowing, people the opportunity to share their stories, or share their experiences, or just, something that happened to them in their day. Back in the day, let's say my wife came home from work and she wanted to tell me about something that happened to her at work that day. I would give her about, 30 seconds to a minute, let her tell me what she had to say, and I would cut her off as quick as I could to talk about myself. And I could, even back then, I could see the frustration in her eyes because I didn't allow her the opportunity to talk. And, I know now that she knew that I didn't care about what she was saying, because I couldn't wait to jump in, cut her off, and talk about myself, because that's all I cared about was me. Me, all the time. Like I said, when we can allow other people the opportunity to talk to us, and we can actually take the time to listen, I really do believe that is one of the aspects that can make us a better version of ourselves. But I really do believe that each and every single one of us has the opportunity, when we get sober, to become the best version of us. And no matter what that is to you, what that means to you, that's your opportunity. Whether it be, you want to educate yourself further, here's your opportunity now. And more than anything, you have more free time, to educate yourself further. Whether that be you want to self-educate or go back to school or whatever that may be. You're not wasting your whole night away getting intoxicated. You can go to work, come home, take a little bit of a break, maybe get something to eat, and then spend the rest of your evening doing research or whatever it may be. Maybe there's a particular hobby that you've been wanting to explore your whole life, and you spent all of your free time drinking or using whatever the substance is, and you just never had the time or found the time to explore that new hobby. Well, now's the time, because you have free time. And when you need to fill that gap with something. Or maybe it's, strengthening your relationships with your friends and your family. Now's the time. That long-lost friend that you haven't spoken to in 10 years, give them a call. Maybe they don't want to talk to you. Maybe you really offended them at some point in your intoxication. But that's okay. At least you opened up that door and gave them the opportunity. And, maybe just because they don't want to talk to you right this moment, you open that door, you give them a phone call, you send them an email, or send them a message on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it may be. And you open that door back up. And yeah, maybe they might not want to talk to you right this second, but maybe they will in a couple days or a couple weeks or maybe some months down the road. But, the thing is that, it gives us the opportunity to apologize for the mistakes that we made or the people that we hurt. Or, maybe it's, you want to delve a little bit deeper into your spirituality. This is your opportunity now to do so. Maybe it's religion. Maybe you want to start going back to church, or maybe you want to start looking more into it online and watching some, videos about religion. Or maybe your whole life you've wanted to read the Bible and you just never had the time to do it because you were always drunk. Now's the time. Pick that Bible up and give it a go. Try to read it. There's a million things that we can do after we get sober. And, like I said, there's so much more free time. Especially if you're like me, I would come home from work, get completely intoxicated, and then pass out, and then wake up the next morning, totally hungover. And, I spent my entire morning nursing myself back to at least being able to go to work that day and trying just to feel halfway decent. Now, when I have any free time, I'm researching or whatever it is. My time is completely filled with productive things all the time. I just don't waste my entire life away sitting on my back porch smoking cigarettes and drinking booze, because that was my life. I went to work, I got off work, I came home, and I got drunk. I passed out. I woke up the next morning. I'd wake up, throw up, make myself a drink to try to get myself back to at least somewhat of a decent level of, of being regular, and then go to work all day, come back and rinse and repeat and do the same thing over and over and over again. My days off were spent getting completely intoxicated, and I would wake up first thing in the morning and drink until I got drunk, and it'd be 11 to 12 o'clock in the day, and I'm already, seeing double. And then I would pass out and sleep all afternoon, wake up 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and then start all over again. I would wake up at, let's say 3 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the night and couldn't go back to sleep. So what would I do? I would make myself a couple of drinks and drink to go back to sleep. All of my time was wrapped up in alcohol, and now it's not. And, like I said, I have become the best version of myself. I'm still working on becoming the best version of myself, as a matter of fact. I'm not there yet. It's going to be a work in progress for me until the day that I'm gone. But I'm steadily trying my best to improve myself and improve the relationships with my friends and my family, and actually be there for them. Just doing little simple things like, reaching out to one of my family members let's say, something I never would have done in the past before, like send my brother a text message during the day and just ask how his day's going. And, or either reach out to one of my friends and just say, hey, I hope your day's going well today. I'm thinking about you. Things that, just little thoughtful things that I never would have done in the past that I do now. And those little teeny things like that make such a difference, especially to the people around us. And last but not least, before I get off of here really quick, one thing that we can do, and I've spoken about this in the past on other shows, but just trying to be a better human being in general. And I really do believe that when we get sober, it really opens up so many doors for us to be able to do those types of things. But, just being thoughtful throughout the day, as you walk into the gas station to pay for your gas, if there's somebody walking in behind you, open the door for them and hold it open. Or say hello to somebody as you walk through the aisles at the grocery store. Or as you're driving through the drive-thru at McDonald's when you're picking up your lunch, just take a look at the person and just say, hey, you look nice today. Or, ask somebody and be real about it and say, how is your day going today? Just doing little simple, little nice things for people as you go throughout the day. Man, does it improve our life. And it improves the life of others. And I'll guarantee you that, if you were to stop, and you're not always going to get a positive response from people. I mean, it's just not going to happen. And you got to chalk it up to whatever when those things happen. Don't beat yourself up and keep analyzing the situation, all day long. If you say something to somebody, you don't get a positive response back. But, if you take a quick second and compliment someone, you see somebody's got a nice necklace on or something, and you actually do think it's nice. Compliment somebody. Say something nice to somebody today. Man, I will bet you they will never forget you for what you did. Never. And you have just made their day. And for the rest of the day, they're going to continually think about that compliment that you left for them. It's going to keep popping up in their mind. Something as simple as, hey, I really like that hat you have on. That's a really cool hat. I wish I had that. They're going to leave that situation. And for the rest of the day, they're going to be like, this is a really nice hat. And they're never going to forget you. And if you run into them again at the store or something, they're probably going to end up speaking to you and say, hey, man, do you remember me? You said something nice about my hat one day and whatever. We can make these little differences in people's lives and, really make a difference and impact their day and just being kind and humble and, like I said, trying to reach out to people when we get the opportunity and say nice things to people. It's just so great to become a better version of ourselves and to be a kinder, sympathetic, empathetic human being. It really does make all the difference in the world. It really does. But, guys, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here for today. Like I said, I'm just filming this down here today because the microphone's hooked up. I just figured why not, instead of having to move all of my stuff outside and taking it out there and resetting everything up. I figured I'd just go ahead and film today's video down here. Let you guys at least get to hear the new microphone, see what you guys think about it, because it wasn't easy setting this microphone up and all that stuff, because I am not tech savvy when it comes to this kind of stuff. I had to do a lot of research the past couple days to get this working correctly. Yesterday, I got on there with the gentleman that does this podcast, and he said, let's go ahead and get on and do a test run and make sure everything's working properly. We got on there, and of course, nothing was working right. The microphone sounded horrible. There was all kinds of distortion going on. He said it sounded like I was, a pilot on an airplane talking to the people in the back. He said it had that really muffled sound, and I was super frustrated because I could not figure it out. But after watching a bunch of YouTube videos, which, thank God for YouTube and all the people who have made videos talking about stuff like this. It makes our life so much easier. And after watching a couple videos this morning, I was able to really get a grasp on what I was doing. And I think the audio sounds amazing now. And I really think it's going to be a great opportunity, especially for people who don't have like YouTube Premium. I plan on posting up these shows now on Spotify and podcast format. And it'll give people the opportunity to be able to listen to the show on the go. Not have to have their screen open the whole time, just burning their battery down. While you're out doing your chores or washing the dishes or vacuuming your house or while you're at work or whatever, you could be listening to these shows. And like I said, the audio quality is going to be a heck of a lot better than it was in the past. So once again, guys, I really do appreciate you watching today's video. And, like I said, once again, this is our opportunity to become the best version of us and to make a difference in this world. I think often we have this idea that we're just one person and what can we do? But you actually really can make a difference. You can. Just you. Just little old you. You're important. And you can make a huge difference in this world. And something as simple as holding the door open for somebody, telling somebody thank you, telling somebody they look nice today, or whatever it is, can make all the difference in the world for somebody. And you never know how that ripple effect is going to expand out into that pond. And what that one little thing that you did that one time, it might touch 100 people down the road. You just never know. So anyway, with that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much. And until tomorrow, I will see y'all then. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.